Have you ever felt that no matter how well-reasoned your arguments are, there are people who just don't take you seriously? Most people believe respect is earned by shouting the loudest, but the truth is, power isn't in the volume of your voice, but in the precision of your words. Imagine walking into a meeting, a family argument, or even a casual conversation and, with a single sentence, making everyone listen and respect you without having to lift a finger. Today I'm going to reveal 5 phrases so effective that when you say them, they compel anyone to treat you with respect. It doesn't matter if it's your boss, a friend, or a stranger. These phrases work. And the best part? No shouting required. Stay until the end because phrase number 3 is so powerful, it can completely change the way people see you. And if you use it right, even your harshest critics will fall silent. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters." And in the art of earning respect, this means one thing very clearly. You don't need to react with anger or raise your voice, but rather respond with firmness and serenity. The Stoics understood that the right words are like arrows, small, but capable of piercing any barrier. Think about it. From ancient Rome to today, the people who leave a mark aren't the ones who shout the loudest, but those who speak with calm, conviction, and moral authority. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor and philosopher, led an entire empire without losing his composure, because he knew that true respect is born from clarity and self-control. In modern life, it's no different. In a work meeting, a disagreement with your partner, or even when facing a stranger, your tone can be calm, but if your words are the right ones, people will listen. And that's exactly what you're about to learn now. The 5 phrases that, when said at the right moment, make anyone see you in a different light. Phrase 1. I understand your point, but I disagree. This phrase is simple yet powerful. It communicates that you've listened to the other person, that you value their opinion, but that your position is firm. You don't attack, you don't get defensive, you remain in control. Picture this scene. You're in a meeting, and someone proposes an idea that clearly won't work. Instead of saying that's wrong or staying silent, you look at the person and calmly say, I understand your point, but I disagree. In that moment, you establish a clear boundary and show that you think for yourself. In Stoicism, this is called separating emotion from judgment. You don't need to prove you're smarter. You just need to make it clear that your judgment is independent. The magic of this phrase is that it avoids direct confrontation, but leaves an imprint of respect in the mind of the person who hears it. Phrase 2. I don't find that appropriate. This phrase shuts down any disrespectful behavior without needing long explanations. It's direct, firm, and hard to question. When you use it, you make it clear that there are lines you are not willing to cross. Imagine that in the middle of a conversation, someone makes an offensive comment or a bad joke. Instead of laughing along or staying silent, you look them in the eye and say, I don't find that appropriate. That simple phrase forces the other person to reconsider their attitude because it shows you're not willing to validate something you consider wrong. The Stoics believed that personal dignity is an invisible shield. Seneca said that he who respects himself will be respected by others. And this phrase, used with serenity, is a direct way to show that you respect yourself without needing to get into an argument. Phrase 3. Let's talk when we can do so respectfully. This phrase not only stops a toxic conversation, but also shifts control of the situation in your favor. You're not running away. You're setting the rules for the dialogue. Imagine someone is speaking to you aggressively, interrupting you or raising their voice. Instead of matching their tone, you take a breath, stay calm, and say, let's talk when we can do so respectfully. In that instant, the dynamic changes. The other person is forced to reconsider their behavior because you've made it clear that you won't accept an interaction based on disrespect. In Stoic terms, this is pure self-mastery. Epictetus taught that you can't control the actions of others, but you can control your response. And here your response not only protects your peace, but also teaches the other person how they should treat you. The impact of this phrase is so significant that the first time you use it, you'll notice an immediate silence and, curiously, more attention to your words. Phrase 4. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. This phrase is like locking a door. It conveys that you've decided not to invest any more energy in something that adds no value. It's not about running away. It's about choosing where to focus your attention. Imagine you're arguing with someone who is only trying to provoke you or win out of pride. You can feel the conversation getting tangled and leading nowhere. At that moment, you look at them calmly and say, "I'd prefer not to continue this conversation." With those words, you regain control, end the tension, and demonstrate that your peace is worth more than having the last word. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This phrase is the modern application of that principle. You don't fall into the same game, and that makes you stronger in the eyes of others. Phrase 5. That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. This phrase combines two powerful elements: courtesy and firmness. You acknowledge the other person's stance but assert your own, without asking for permission or starting an unnecessary conflict. Imagine a friend, a colleague, or even a family member insists on convincing you of something you don't accept. Instead of arguing point by point, you respond calmly, "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it." With this, you close the door to pressure, maintain the relationship, and at the same time affirm your independence of thought. Seneca said that being a slave to the opinions of others is the worst of prisons. This phrase is the key to escaping that invisible jail, reminding you that you can respect someone without giving up your own judgment. Now you have 5 phrases that, when spoken at the right time, will compel anyone to respect you without shouting. Remember, "I understand your point, but I disagree. I don't find that appropriate. Let's talk when we can do so respectfully. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation." And, "That's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it." If you apply them with serenity and firmness, you'll notice that people start to listen to you more, measure their words, and treat you with greater consideration. Because respect isn't imposed by force, it's inspired by character. At Stoic Spring, I teach you to speak, think, and act with the wisdom of the great philosophers, so you can live with more respect, inner peace, and mental strength. Subscribe now and continue learning how to turn words into your greatest tool. And tell me in the comments, which of these phrases are you going to use first? I'll be excited to read your answers.